Good morning, children. Today we start with section B lesson, the praying hands. Now, beta, in general, when do we pray? We pray to God in our difficult times or when we want something in life and not getting, or when we want to thank God for our success or accomplishments. Prayer is not to influence God, but to change the nature of the one who prays. Now, beta, if we pray, we ourselves are changed. Now, beta, how do we pray? We pray with our two hands pressed together, yes? And fingers are pointing upwards. Now, beta, folded hands is used as a gesture of prayer, thanks, request, and greetings, as well as to express some sentiments as hope, praise, gratitude, reverence, and respect. Now, beta, I am going to read the lesson, explain to you, so listen to it carefully. Back in the 15th century, in a tiny village near Nuremberg, lived a family with 18 children. 18. In order to merely put food on the table for this mob, the father and head of the household, a goldsmith by profession, worked almost 18 hours a day at his trade and any other paying chore he could find in the neighborhood. Now, beta, this story is set up in the 15th century in a tiny village near Nuremberg. And beta, 18 children were there. And the father was a goldsmith. He used to make things with gold. And he used to work 18 hours a day. And even he could do other jobs, odd jobs if he could get in the neighborhood. Why? Because he had such a big family to support. So he needed a lot of money. Despite their seemingly hopeless condition, now seemingly means better, like it seemed that they were in very bad condition. Two of Albrecht Dürer, the eldest children, had a dream. They both wanted to pursue their talent for art, but they knew fully well that their father would never be financially able to send either of them to study at the academy. Now, beta, the children, they had a dream. They wanted to study art. But they were also aware that their father was not in a position to help them with the finances because he could not. So, such a big family to look after. And after many long discussions at night in their crowded bed, the two boys finally worked out a pact. They would toss a coin. The loser would go down into the nearby mines and with his earnings support his brother while he attended the academy. Then, when that brother who won the toss completed his studies in 4 years, he would support the other brothers at the academy, either with sales of his artwork or, if necessary, by laboring in the mines. Now, beta, after very long discussion, they used to every night think how to go about, how they can manage, what they can do for their passion. So they finally worked out a pact. They finally worked out a agreement. They came to some conclusion. They said, okay, we'll toss a coin. The one who wins will go to the academy to study. And the other one who loses, for 4 years, that person would go to the mines and work there. And after 4 years, the one who has won and he has studied in the academy would come back. Either he would sell his artwork or work in the mine to support his brother. Then the other brother would go and study in the academy. Now they tossed a coin on a Sunday morning after church. Now, after attending the church on Sunday, they tossed the coin. Albrecht Dürer won the toss and went off to Nuremberg. And Albert went down into the dangerous mines and for the next 4 years financed his brother, whose work at the academy was almost an immediate sensation. Albrecht's etchings, his woodcut, and his oils were far better than those of most of his professors. And by the time he graduated, he was beginning to earn considerable fees for his commissioned works. Now, beta, after the church, after that tossing, beta, Albert, he went to the mines and Albrecht went to the academy. And beta, then for next 4 years, he was financing his brother, whose work at the academy. And beta, he worked so hard. His art was so much praised. It was so much better than even his professors. And he, at the end, when he graduated, Beta, when he graduated from his academy, he was earning a very healthy amount, a handsome amount he was earning, and for his commissioned work. Now, beta, commissioned work is that beta, the art pieces the artist is paid for. Sorry, beta. When the young artist returned to his village, the Durer family held a festive dinner on their lawn. Now they had a dinner in honor of their son because he was very, very successful. Albrechard's triumphant homecoming. After a long and memorable meal, punctuated with music and laughter, Albrechard rose from his honored position at the end of the table to drink a toast to his beloved brother for the years of sacrifice that had enabled Albrechard to fulfill his ambition. His closing words were, "And now, Albert, blessed brother of mine, now it is your turn. Now you can go to Nuremberg to pursue your dream, and I will take care of you." Now, beta, there was a sumptuous dinner, and there was music, laughter, everybody was enjoying. Then at that time, beta, Albrechard, he rose, he stood on the table at the end of the table, and he said, he toasted. Beta, toasted means when you have a drink in honor of someone. So he said that this is for my beloved, blessed brother, and he has worked for years and he has sacrificed and enabled him to fulfill his ambition. So he said, "Now, blessed brother, now it is my turn. Now you go to Nuremberg to pursue your dream, and I will take care of you." All heads turned in eager expectation to the far end of the table where Albert sat, tears streaming down his pale face, shaking his lowered head from side to side, while he sobbed and repeated over and over, "No, no, no, no." Now, beta, all heads, all people who were there, they turned towards Albert, and they were just looking at Albert. And Albert, beta, tears were running down his cheek. And beta, his head was lowered and he was saying, "No, no, no, no." Finally, Albert rose and wiped the tears from his cheeks. He glanced down the long table at the faces he loved, and then holding his hands close to his right cheek, he said softly, now, beta, he wiped his tears, and then very, very softly, beta, the tears were rolling down his yellow face, and he was so tired looking, he could not even stand. And then, beta, he held both his hands, his hand to his right cheek, and he said, "No, brother, I cannot go to Nuremberg. It is too late for me. Look, what 4 years in the mines have done to my hands. The bones in every finger have been smashed at least once, and lately I have been suffering from arthritis so badly in my right hand that I cannot even hold a glass to return your toast, much less make delicate lines on parchments or canvas with a pen or a brush. No, brother, for me it is too late." Now he said, 4 years I have worked in terrible times in the mines. There is no finger in the hand that has not been broken, and my right hand is suffering with arthritis. Arthritis means bitter disease of the bones. So he said, my right hand is so badly affected that I cannot even hold a glass today in your honor. And he said, how can I paint on a canvas with a brush or a pen? So he said, no, brother, now I cannot go. It is too late. More than 450 years have passed. By now, hundreds of masterful portraits, pen and silver point sketches, watercolors, charcoals, woodcuts, and copper engravings by Albrechard Dürer hang in every great museum in the world. But the odds are great that you, like most people, are familiar with only one of his works. More than merely being familiar with it, you may very well have a reproduction hanging in your home or office. Now, beta, more than 450 years, beta, he was there, because the story is in the 15th century. So, beta, now we can see in almost all the world museums, beta, his art, his portraits, pen and silver point sketches, watercolors, charcoals, woodcuts, copper engravings. And beta, what we see now, beta, some of his artworks have been copied by other great artists. So what we see nowadays, beta, in the market is not the one he had done. But now the artists who are working, who are just copying his work, we may have one in our house also one day. One day to pay homage to Albert for all that he had sacrificed, Albrecht Dürer stakingly drew his brother's abused hands with palms together and thin fingers stretched skywards. Now, beta, abused here is not that you are saying some bad words to anyone using. Here, beta, it means the injured hand of his brother. Now, beta, he called his powerful drawing simply hands. But the entire world almost immediately opened their hearts to this great masterpiece and renamed his tribute of love the praying hands. Beta, when he made that painting, he called it simply hands because he was paying tribute to his brother. But immediately, beta, people around the world named it the praying hands. The next time you see a copy of that touching creation, take a second look. Let it be your reminder, if you still need one, that no one ever makes it alone. Because in life, we cannot work alone. We need a support of someone. Even doing anything in life, we need a support. With a one hand cannot eat. We need a support to hold the plate with the other hand. When we are writing, we need the support of the other hand to hold the page. So beta, even in life when we have to grow, we need someone's support. It may be a family member, our friend, our relative, anyone around. So beta, the moral of this story, what I have told you, is that beta, we should remember the sacrifices others may have made for your success in life. Always respect them and care for them, as what they could have done for themselves, they did that for your happiness. Always thank them. Beta, now here, Albert sacrificed his love, his passion, his dream to become a great artist. He sacrificed for his brother and he worked in the great, the dangerous mines just to support his brother to become a great artist. So now beta, I hope you have understood the story well and you will read it and enjoy reading it, and always be prayerful, always be thankful. Thank you.